Some games just want to be everything. In recent times, it's felt like gaming at its most grandiose and mainstream has been pushing to offer more than it ever has before. More content offerings, more consumables and cosmetics, more tacked on modes, except for Overwatch 2. They pump faked heavily on that PvE pipe dream Pepperidge Farm remembers. But nonetheless, some of the biggest games over the past decade have been dead set on building a mountain of content to meet consumers with. And one game that's been moving mountains for a long time in that respect has been Fortnite. It wasn't too long ago that an entirely new FPS mode in Ballistic debuted and a life simulation experience in LEGO Brick Life dropped. Two incredibly ambitious ideas to add to their otherworldly catalog of experiences endemic to the Fortnite environment. Seeing those new modes being shown off and thinking about Fortnite's breadth and depth as a game brought me back to a statement I made on my podcast, No Cooldown. Yes, this is absolutely a shameless plug, mind your business, but go check it out. But I basically said, if the aliens came down and wanted me to show them a game to represent the entirety of the space, Fortnite would be that game. Because it feels like it's morphed into something that wants to epitomize all of the medium. Fortnite has become so much more than its original vision. And even when its original vision got thrown into an active volcano and sacrificed for in Battle Royale, the game has so much in it, and it's not just a hodgepodge of whimsical additions and one-offs they just shrugged and threw in the pile. It's by design. Looking back at the development path and choices taken by Epic, it's clear to me that their aim wasn't to just build the top dog in the emerging Battle Royale space over the PUBGs, Apexes, and Warzones, but to build a monster experience capable of tackling and toppling the deepest gaming experiences the medium has ever seen and be an all-encompassing constant that is felt throughout every major facet of the space. So sit back, relax, and take a trip with yours truly as we shed light on one of the biggest games in the world and its pathway to become a game for everything and everyone forever. Now let's start by setting the table on exactly what an everything game is. I define it as a game that deliberately and consistently expands beyond its core offering and gameplay limits from development efforts and the creative input of its community of consumers. To me, it's pretty close to the term sandbox in gaming nomenclature and even an evolution of what we know as a sandbox. There's definitely some overlap as well. The titles in both categories have a certain level of non-linear access to the world, emergent gameplay where novel and personalized interactions are the norm, a highly replayable game loop, and a substantial level of creative license that is explicitly given to the players to chip in. The reasons I prefer to use everything games as the go-to term in this sense is 1, to ensure the track records of some titles who weren't always classified as sandbox games aren't just lumped in with the ones who were from their inception. 2, create separation between the titles that expand their sandbox consistently and incorporate user creativity in that expansion on top of their own efforts and the others that stay in the same sandbox. And 3, I was thinking about everything bagels because I love bagels and I'm giving them up this year to cut back on carbs and I need something to remember them by, so let me grieve in peace, y'all. Stop questioning what I got going on so much, man. In my weird headcanon, all everything games contain a sandbox of some sort, but not all sandboxes contain everything games. Everything games have insane potential to develop novel experiences consistently and move towards that, either by the hand of developers wanting to build on the DNA of an experience or gamers who want to make something fun happen that no one would have ever thought of prior. And if you trace it back, you can see that the spirit of everything games has been growing and brewing for a long time. To give you a better sense of that lineage at a 1,000-foot view, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Way back in September 1984, a game called Elite hit the Acorn Electron and BBC Micro. Come on, son, lock in for 2 minutes, please.
My fault.
Elite hit those computer systems and brought a lot of real groundbreaking innovations. While hailed as a revolutionary in wireframe 3D graphics, modern spaceflight simulators, and space trading games, Elite's work with nonlinear elements and open-world schema made it one of the first places for gamers to truly chart their own path in an experience. The turn of the century saw some huge leaps as The Sims gave way to unseen levels of creative control and simulation that sparked millions of novel player interactions, and Grand Theft Auto 3's delivery of its dedicated physics engine and deep open world revolutionized how emergent gameplay and sandboxes are mixed together. 2006 housed two marquee leaps in this vein. The first being a gold standard of modern sandboxes in Gary's mod, which showcased the depth of creative license as it was the spawn point for so much user-generated content such as Prop Hunt and Machinima. The second was the beginnings of what I consider one of the earliest sightings of a pure everything game in Roblox. An entire ecosystem where people can create and publish their own experiences through scripting and coding. 2007 saw Halo 3 introduce Forge mode and open the floodgates to creative possibilities in what was strictly an FPS shooter, reimagining what could be played in the confines of the game. Side note, Griffball is the best custom mode to be made official in its own game ever. Debate your grandmothers, not me. 2011 brought another big everything game in Minecraft to the surface, and we all know how well that did. 2013 saw the first sighting of GTA Online that standardized their multiplayer sandbox and custom creations access, and down the line, set the stage for RP or role-playing servers to explode and become staples of GTA, to the point it may be an official portion of GTA 6. And since then, we've had a slew of games that are expanding and pushing to be everything games everywhere. I mean, we literally had a game named Everywhere that just wants to do a bunch of stuff. It's really gotten that far. And as we close the curtain on that trip down memory lane, let's get the focus back on Fortnite and its metamorphosis into an everything game. As we all know, Epic's golden child has only one thing for sure about it, and that is nothing's for sure. With Fortnite's introduction to the world as a PvE protect-your-base style game, I'm not sure that anyone could have anticipated how quickly Save the World will be essentially abandoned for the Battle Royale model as the flagship experience, Epic included. In that pivot, they gained a huge boost of money, momentum, and monthly player count jumps, and that put them in a unique position to act further on their experimental intentions for the game in many ways. If someone told me to pinpoint the start of Fortnite's shift from reactive pivoting to intentionally pushing towards becoming the everything game that we know it as today, I would mark it down to June 27th, 2018. The first introduction of creative license in the Playground LTM. This mode put some power in the players' hands to roam the island with increased time and resources to do what they wanted, and while the likely intention was to give players more time to scrimmage and fight each other in a lower pressure environment, Playground gave people the first hints of being creative beyond the bare objectives of looting and shooting in the game. Everything from shopping cart racetracks to statues and beyond were made, and that certainly caught the eyes of the development team as they sought to better service the interest of their player base. At the end of that year, on December 6, 2018, Fortnite Creative 1.0, a full-fledged sandbox editor, was introduced in Season 7, and it was off to the races. User-generated content exploded in almost every imaginable metric despite some stability issues out the gate, and Fortnite was very quickly likened to prior everything games like Roblox and Minecraft as its offerings started to take shape on the creative side. The capability Epic introduced hit a Super Saiyan skip level as their 2023 GDC State of Unreal unveiled Fortnite Creative 2.0 and the huge upgrades it was bringing to what was established. An Unreal Engine editor dedicated to Fortnite with a crazy amount of control and capability. Check. A unified all-in-one storefront that housed some of the biggest toolsets and assets for development in Fab Marketplace. Check. A revamped revenue system for developers to be rewarded from in Creator Economy 2.0. Check, check, and hopefully more checks. The game advancing and creative expanding by leaps and bounds alongside it took Fortnite to a different stratosphere. And you combine that with the very intentional additions of LTMs, special modes, and moments adjacent to and even within Battle Royale itself, you end up with a smorgasbord of content to dive into. I mean, the three pillars of Fortnite's offering just look insane as they hold up the entire IP. One pillar is the Battle Royale umbrella, of course, where if you look closely enough, you can see the skeleton of Save the World mode just under it. The second pillar of Fortnite official offshoots has added so much life with little to any overlap with Battle Royale experiences. And that third pillar is the Fortnite creative / UEFN powerhouse that we just broke down, so you already understand the impact is real there. And that's where Fortnite is at a high level. They stumbled into some fire and have continued to black flash over and over again, elevating every corner of their experience, except for Save the World, to build one of the biggest offerings the gaming world has ever seen. But how are they really different from all the other everything games out there? Well, I can put it down to a few things in the interest of time. Some are pretty distinct to Epic and others not so much, but all of them work in tandem in this big equation, so stick with me. First off, its near ubiquitous availability and massive appeal with audiences have set up a ridiculously strong and consistent level of player activity. You can find it on damn near every device, working or not. I'm looking at you, Nintendo Switch, and it's super easy to get into and enjoy. I mean, the game is literally taking a court for being too addictive. Say what you will, it knows how to hook people. Unreal Engine is its own contributing factor that is supercharging the look, feel, and capabilities of the game, giving it a massive leg up on several fronts. Having direct connection to one of the most used engines in gaming history will surely have you looking and playing smoother than your closest competitors in Roblox and Minecraft, and potentially align you towards full-on publishing of games within the game. Epic's intentional expansion of modes have worked wonders to not only make the ecosystem of the game fresh, but to also retain waves of players who might not be in the mood to play core Battle Royale non-stop. There's no build modes that made a triumphant return, OG map layouts have become permanent, and on top of that, there's a plethora of modes that have nothing to do with Battle Royale at all, which has only worked to Fortnite's benefit. The Fortnite creative wing constantly expands on the possible in the experience and does a lot of work for Epic. On one side of the wing, it's the individual contributors and independent teams creating through UEFN, being incentivized via creator programs that are competitively comparable to other major everything games. And on the other side of the wing, there are countless companies and businesses wanting to gain the eyes of millions of people for their products or messages, and use the creative islands to achieve that in myriad ways. And last, but certainly not least, Epic's collaboration domination. I'll give you the whole spiel in another video down the line, but the collabs obviously get more heads in the door, and then the modes under the three pillars, namely the creative and offshoot ones, keep them from walking out that door. On a concentrated, more permanent level, you see collaboration work wonders in building up dedicated modes and assets that bolster the game. From Fall Guys integrated into creative tools, to Rocket Racing, to Rock Band / Fortnite Festival, to Lego Fortnite Odyssey and Brick Life. And what effect do all of these elements pouring into Fortnite have? Well, it basically was the super soldier serum that amped the game to go toe-to-toe with the biggest and most played games in the world over the past 5+ years, and put itself in pole position to be the everything game that leads the race towards dominance for decades to come. But why? Why strive to be an everything game? Battle Royale brought them a ton of success. Why not just keep their efforts solely focused on that as they gain momentum? The answer lies in a really poignant conversation that comedian Bo Burnham spoke about in 2019.
They're coming for every second of your life. That's what these companies are coming to. It's because these companies like Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, everything, they went public and they went to shareholders. So they have to grow. They are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. It's coming. It's coming for every free second you have.
They want to win the war. Epic wants to win the war for the attention and retention of gamers. It is attrition, a non-stop zero-sum game where if they aren't bringing in more and more people, they're losing them to another everything game or even scrolling on the next addictive app. It's about adding more. Because the more you add, the more players play. Then the more they play, the more they stay. And the more they stay, the more they pay. You build out the experience, you keep the players engaged, you maximize how long you can keep people in your clutches, all in an effort to increase your chances to take their money and time. I remember seeing an old stat that stated 88% of gaming playtime in 2023 was attributed to only 66 games. 66! And of those figures, 60% of playtime was spent in games that were already 6 years or older. And guess which game topped every single platform category? Fortnite figured it out. Lightning struck when they took the Battle Royale DNA and embraced it fully. Then they made it strike twice with their otherworldly commitment to using every bit of Epic's resources and capabilities to build on an undeniable product with undeniable additions. The two most important things to any big experience nowadays is its gameplay and its content funnel. Through their depth on many levels and the sheer magnitude of expansion, collaboration, and creative platforming, they've got all the cards in place to dominate gaming for generations to come. As the war on people's attention rages on, Fortnite's weight only grows as it fully embraces its presence on so many levels. It's not just a battle royale thing anymore. It's the FPS thing. It's the concert thing. It's the life sim thing. It's the anime marathon thing. It's the racing thing. It's everything. Fortnite has meticulously built one of the strongest portfolios within a single gaming experience in history thus far. It's become a monster, and it's only going to get bigger as they expand and upgrade their capabilities to capture the attention of fans new and old and hold them there until the inevitable heat death of the universe. But until then, there's still some questions to think on. How does this change the perception of titles not trying to be an everything game over time? Is this even a good thing for the long-term health of gaming? Will Fortnite actually be forever? Well, that's for time to tell. And when the time comes, we'll talk about everything. Hey, good people of the internet, hope you enjoyed that video right there. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and run to the comment section and give me your thoughts about this topic. As a matter of fact, if you made it to the end of the video, make sure you head to the comment section and type in "RIP Save the World" to pay your respects. Fortnite is really trying to be forever, but it won't take forever for you to check out some of these other dope videos that we have in the library, so be sure to go check out what's on screen right now. And with that being said, I am just about out of time here, but don't trip. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.